welcome back to Lemmings to the Tribes. We're now gonna tackle our 5th tribe, and boy is this one gonna be a departure, in many ways than one. Looking at the map, you might remember seeing those graphics before. We've got the pillar and the crystal tile set from Lemming 1. That's right, it's the classic tribe. It's now time to revisit our past. Do you remember? I hope so, because this tribe is gonna be all about the Lemmings 1 gameplay. You're never gonna have anything else than the 8 classic skills from the first Lemmings game, and it's gonna come with the advantages as well than the setbacks of these. So the first level in plain old Lemmings 2 fashion is very easy. If this level was in Lemmings 1, it will either be late into the fun difficulty, or it will be in early tricky. One of these two. You have many ways in order to solve things, but yeah. Remember, considering that we're in Lemmings 2 and we don't have any kind of thing like a certain number of lemmings that we have to rescue, you're usually gonna be focusing about trying to save as many lemmings as possible. So therefore, this might complicate some levels because you might have to find some other ways in order to bring everybody to the end. So therefore, you're definitely gonna think twice before assigning blockers and bombers. And this is not really a thing that I agree with because, well, you will see later. We didn't really need to use any blockers in order to succeed on this one level, but not every level in this tribe is gonna be like this. In fact, I say that the classic tribe is probably one of the hardest tribes in the entire game, and doing this right after like the medieval tribe, you're definitely in for a shock because these levels might actually confuse the hell out of you. This tribe is also gonna be where you're definitely gonna start noticing that the difficulty curve of this game is really not up to snuff because, boy, after the first level, this one can be pretty complicated. This level would not have looked out of place if it was either in late tricky or early taxing, one of these two. After the first level, which was really open-ended and everything, there's not a whole lot of ways in order to complete this level. And most of the ways that you can use in order to beat this level generally come down to about the same solution. So there's not as much of a variety to this one level, for sure. In order to get all of your lemmings on the left to get to the right, you're gonna need to build a bridge that goes all the way from the right to the left because of course the opposite is completely impossible because you cannot bash and dig under this thing over here, and there you can finally have your staircase that will link both ends of the level together. Also, you just have enough builders in order to do this level, so don't waste any of them because you might just end up failing the level. You probably could circumvent the need of having to use builders in order to build out of the pit on the left if you use a miner, but I don't really like the limited space that you have to work with. It's just, at this point I'd rather just do it the way that I did it. And yeah, by the way, you have to start assigning a builder with one of your lemmings as soon as the level starts because otherwise you're gonna have to blind click on lemmings in order to build your way out of here, and of course you're never gonna make it. Remember, we're not into the source ports or everything where controlling your lemmings is really fine. We're back to playing it rough, the good old-fashioned way, so therefore, you gotta have to be ready. And now for this level, which I really like a whole bunch. This is a level, however, that I completely agree with. It's one of those levels that, even though you have very limited supplies, there's a lot of different ways in order to make it through. And it's all about you experimenting in order to figure out what are the best ways in order to make it through and what are the worst ways as well. I mean, why not? Just go hog wild. You have to make your way through 7 tetrominoes, and of course, since you only have 4 bashers, you can't simply just use the basher in order to make it through everything. No, you can't. You're gonna have to use some creativity here, and that implies using your miners in order to start digging a tunnel at the top of a piece all the way to the bottom. All of that sort of good thing that just makes life a little bit more interesting for you. This is definitely the tribe where you start revisiting all of the good old tactics that you use in Lemming 1, like building in order to turn a climber the other way. So yeah, it's pretty much a complete refresher course, and if you've never played Lemmings 1, or if you've never made it all the way to at least taxing or mayhem, then these levels might be really difficult because you're pretty much gonna be overwhelmed by the amount of tactics that you're gonna have to use in order to make it through these levels and everything. It's just like, this is a tribe that gets hard really, really fast. At this point, I think it's safe that we finish the level. We only have to bash through one final Tetris piece, the upside down hill over here, and here we go, we're gonna be done with this. Okay, or maybe not, because the little block over here is just slightly beyond reach. Just like in Lemmings 1, the Lemmings will have been able to jump up there. Just like, this is kind of bullshit. Just a little bit. I mean, I still had a builder in order to get myself out of this jam, but I still don't like how come that they diminish the jumping height that the Lemmings are able to do in this game. Probably because there's a whole lot of skills that allow your Lemmings to get high, so therefore that makes it so that you're gonna have to use your skills better. Also, I don't know, is a tension sheet a good idea? In fact, what's a tension sheet? I don't even know. But yeah, this is definitely the one level that's definitely gonna take you out of a loop, because boy are things getting a whole lot harder from now on. If you can already tell what is the path that our Lemming is gonna have to take in order to get through this level, then congratulations, I guess you've played way too much Lemming, because that level definitely is not obvious in the slightest, and it just makes it so that it seems about as unclear as possible as to what you have to do, because there's so many of these steel blocks everywhere in order to restrain your progress. Also, we only have 3 builders, so yeah, builders is absolutely not gonna be the focus on this one level. Just like, you're gonna use 3 builders exactly, and 1 in order to get through this pit over here, and 2 for the other one at the end of the level. So how are we gonna bring everybody all the way to the end? Well, it's time to bring on the digging, and yeah, it's not all that there is to it, because yeah, you're also gonna have to lower your Lemming before he starts building, because we want this Lemming to turn the other way, so that he's gonna be able to start working on the tunnel that will free everybody. I'm not 100% certain about that, but if you don't mine over here, there's absolutely no way that your Lemming is gonna turn direction. Also, you have to use a miner, because the digger has to be used for something else. You're gonna have to use it in order to free your left gang of Lemmings. But yeah, that's the gist to this whole level. We have to dig the mother of all tunnels in order to connect to the leftward Lemmings that are over here, and as soon as we're gonna have a complete tunnel, then our Lemmings on the left are gonna dig in order to reach the tunnel themselves. So that's why you must not use any diggers until then. And also, you have to make sure that you're low enough before you start bashing, because those little steel tiles over here are kind of sensitive, and if I was like one miner dig too much or too little, then I will have pretty much have hit the steel and the level will be over. But yeah, how do we save our basher? Because there's nothing in order to stop him now. Well, unfortunately, he cannot be saved. This is really shitty, but yeah, that's unfortunately the way that it is. So much for saving all of the 60 Lemmings, huh? Yeah, this is why this tribe is particularly shitty, because of the way that you're gonna have to use blockers and bombers. In certain levels, you really don't have a single clue as to whether you're gonna be allowed to use blockers or bombers until you finish the level and see, okay, I killed a Lemming, but I still have a gold medal, so therefore I was allowed to sacrifice people. And you're only gonna know if you have to kill people as soon as you finish the level and see what kind of message you'll get whenever you get a silver medal. So this is why the classic tribe can sometimes go to hell. But that's okay, because it is totally time for the magnificent Severn. What the hell is a magnificent Severn? Now it's really classic Lemmings, because it's throwing a whole lot of level titles at me that I have no clue what they mean. So yeah, you might think you have to use your 5 bashers in order to get to these 5 pillars over here, but don't, because if you do that, you're gonna fail the level, because you're gonna need a basher over here as well. So last pillar need to be mined through, so that 1, we're gonna be able to get through the pillar to begin with, and 2, our Lemmings are not gonna die because of fall damage. So that was the easy part of the level. Now this is where it gets really nasty, because the game really wants you to believe there are several ways in order to get to the end, and many of them are duds. So your first reflex might be like to use like a digger and then mine through that little piece of concrete that there is over there in order to reach the other sloping tunnel, but don't. It's a trap. In our circumstances, we will have to use 2 diggers and a basher in order to make it through, and then we're not gonna have any more ways in order to free our other lemmings, and the level will be over. And even if you did, how would you even save your other lemmings anyway? Because the exit is over there, and you need your 2 builders in order to steer your lemming the other way, so that's why you have to take this long path over here, where you drop into this little containment area, and now we can build over the exit with one of our builders, and the other builder is gonna be used in order to create a ramp in order to welcome our other lemmings. But yeah, right now you're probably noticing there's a little problem here. How do I make sure that my lemmings are all gonna walk the proper way? Well, that's easy. You just don't save them. That's the way to go. Also, yeah, here's a little surprise for this one tribe. Too bad that I kind of ruined it by putting the game on fast forward, but yeah, in this tribe the lemmings die good old fashioned with the good old sparks and bits that are flying in the air. Good old light symphony of death. But yeah, you'll want to put a blocker on your ramp before he turns, and this way you're gonna be able to stop your lemming from falling. But that is only if your tunnel is good enough, because yeah, unfortunately I kinda lost a bunch of lemmings over here. So let us see what is the final verdict. Okay, so we killed 5 lemmings, so it's all about the time to see what were the casualties we were allowed to have. Yeah, if it says you obviously had few problems there, that means that you killed 4 lemmings too many in order to get gold, so we are allowed to use a blocker. But now, let's do the level in a way more optimal manner. Instead of setting the blocker into the ramp in a very haphazard manner and everything, yeah, just put the blocker at the beginning of the level and let 2 lemmings through. One of them is gonna do the path as usual, and the other one is gonna be the one that will dig in order to prepare the tunnel that will lead to the end of the level. So yeah, once that we've set all of our plan in motion, we're just gonna skip forward to the point that actually matters, in order to check out the magic of how putting your blocker in an efficient manner can make this level so much more easier. With only 1 lemming walking back and forth like this, it's gonna be really easy to dig at the proper place, and our climber over here has just turned direction because he hit his head on the ceiling by building, so therefore he's saved anyway. And now that we've prepared the tunnel, and we had pretty much the cleanest tunnel of all time, it's time for this very stilted line of lemming. It just looks like the way that they're blended together, they barely even move, just like, holy shit, this is kind of blowing my mind. And I'll do it for the magnificent Severn. We killed the lemming, but that's okay, we were allowed to kill him anyway. And the dilemma starts anew. Can we kill lemmings in this level or not? We will figure out in the next video.